when you have pain or fever or anything of that sort, you go down, you define it, you see it all the time, you watch it and watch it changing, and how it alters, and keeps on to it the whole time. And I say often, if you do that, you cure it. It's a regular way they used to cure malaria. It's not done, they could cure it like that. But sometimes says one mustn't have the idea I'm going to cure it. If that's wanting it to go, which is kilesa. One should have the attitude, I want to know what feeling is. Knowing the feeling is important. Feeling is very important too. Primarily, what we know about the body is feeling. What we know inside, we know the body. It's all feeling. We don't know much about the body apart from feeling. If you took feeling away, you hardly know you've got it. What else is there? Just seeing the external parts, bits on the outside. It's nearly all feeling. And when you look at feeling, it's a very peculiar thing. You get this feeling that there's nothing outside in the world that you can compare it with. Feeling is not something that you can find outside in any way at all. You'll find things that arouse feeling, but the feeling actually is in yourself. And that's the only place you can find feeling. It's the only one of the senses that does produce dukkha. All the other senses produce neutral feeling. And if one gets dukkha from them, it's not actually from them directly. It's the feeling that gives the dukkha. In other words, if you see something unpleasant, what you see actually is just colour and light. That's all. But when that gets in, you experience dukkha because feeling arises. When you check that against feeling, feeling says, I don't like it. It doesn't feeling come. Feeling is very important. Any other questions?
Just generally on the heart, when the word heart comes in, looking at the heart, where is the heart? What is the heart?
The heart means the heart here, in the middle of the chest. But it doesn't mean the physical heart. It means that location. And it's, if you like, that is the natural seat of the chitta when it's depressed. That's about the best you can say. It seems to most people that all the sort of mental side of it goes on in the head. That's not really right at all. It's rather like thinking that all the functions of the television set go on in the cathode ray tube. They don't. That's where the display is. And in the head we've got 4 of the 5 senses. So it's tendency to get the idea that it all goes on there. Whereas the bhikkhus, those who do the practice and they get somewhere with it, all of them find that when you see or hear anything, any of the senses, in fact, the organ of sensation may be in the head there, or wherever it is, but the actual reception of it and the experience of it is here in the heart. But it's not recognized as that in people. You have to come to recognize that in your practice. Mainly we in the West have had the idea that the head's the place that matters. The heart doesn't mean anything, except just a pump of blood and so on. And because of that, we all make a great distinction between the head and the rest of the body. And this makes us think that the head's the important thing, it all goes on in the head. The head's like a pair of hands. It's useful. And certainly there's a lot of the necessary mechanism, I suppose you'd call it, up there. But the actual experience, it's not necessary up in the head at all. There's some of it up there, but not all of it by any means. And the thing is, because we think everything's in the head there, then we tend to relate everything to the head. Whereas if one can really get to know the body, know the feelings, know the experiences, you find that there are other places down here that are very important. Solar plexus is very important. There's the heart. Very important places. And to get to know those places, opens up a whole new territory of understanding. It opens up enormous territory. All sorts of things become clear when you get to know those places. If one says, well, what's down there? What is the thing that experiences down there? Physiologically, there may not be anything very special. That's not what matters. What matters is the location. I don't know if I can explain this. We can suppose, anyway, that in the brain there is the knowledge of the whole body. In fact, it's known that there's a sensory area here. The body is laid out in these areas here. And that's where all the nerves end up, out of these areas. So we've got areas there in the brain that correspond to every part of the body. Because of that, we can say that the functions that take place in the body are mirrored up in the brain. In fact, we can say that the whole body is known up there, and in fact that's where the sensation goes to. Sensation goes there, and that's where it's known. Now when we talk about knowing the body, what we really know is that sense in the senses in the head, which projects into a phantom body, so to speak. I don't know if you understand it. So that if you get feeling, say there, you do that and you feel it, it seems as though it's that place. But that place is located with something in the mechanism up here. And it's really the experience is up here. But because it's located by that place, it seems as though it's here. Because we've learned to relate to that. However, it's more. But in fact, the whole body is almost like a phantom body here. Phantom body of feeling. Because that phantom body is very important. It's the one we know. And the experiences that we get in the body, the ones we know in that one. Because of that, when we talk about the heart, we're talking about an experience. And the heart seems to be the experiencing place for the functions of the chitta. Seems to be the main place. But exactly where the mechanism is located that associates with that's another matter. It's probably up in the head somewhere. But that doesn't matter, because the one we have to deal with is our experience in the body. And the experience in the body definitely is that this very important where the chitta is concerned. It seems to be the way of karma. If a person has bad karma, when the time comes, they put themselves in a position for that karma to bring results. Quite unknowingly. It's almost as though they often just walk into it, and walk into a position where normally they wouldn't have gone. They get to a position where the results of that karma come about. Quite odd. It makes one wonder what we are and what our nature is. We've got views of what we are in this world, we've got views of the world and ideas of people and so on like that. But there are various things which tend to suggest that this isn't quite the truth. It's not like that. And that the truth is something very different. That the truth of ourselves is much more mental than it is physical. We're not, the physical bodies are not people. Physical bodies are something that what we can call people who grasp. People grasp hold of them and they use them. And the trouble is the delusion that they have makes them identify with these bodies. And when people identify with these bodies, then they're concerned. And they're afraid of not being with a body, because a body gives a basis. It's like a home they can come back to. If their minds go whizzing off somewhere else, then they can always come back to base. And it anchors them. And they feel secure in this base. Whereas if the base wasn't here, where'd they come back to? There's nowhere to come back to. It's it's loose and it can drift. So people want a base and they want an anchor to hold on to. And because people feel secure in bodies, then they grasp at bodies. Even though they're not secure. The body's not a very secure thing. They can die very easily in all sorts of different ways. And some ways we can avoid, other ways we don't seem to be able to avoid. And disease and so on, it comes, we don't even know it's coming until it's there. Whereas we can avoid it to quite a large extent by being careful in other ways, in other things. But at the same time, the bodies are very sensitive. They rely upon an environment which is suitable, which means that we have air that we can breathe, and that we have temperatures which are reasonable for us to live in. We have protection of various sorts from other animals and things. We've got to have all these sort of things, and if we don't have those, if they change at all, we can't live in that position. The body would die. I mean, we've got to have temperatures probably lower than 50 degrees, and probably mostly above about minus 100. But they can only live about minus 100 in special conditions, with the right clothing and the right protection. And because of that, though, these bodies we've got are very vulnerable. And one should look for security in other ways. Obviously, if we want security in something, and we look to the body for security, we should also see where we're insecure. If we know where we're insecure, we should look to see if there isn't a better way of doing it than grabbing at bodies. And when we see that our insecurity is in the kilesas, because we have kilesas that we don't know where we're going to go, we don't even know where we've been, we don't know what the mind's going to grasp at next, what way it will drift, we just don't know. So the only thing we can do is try and overcome those kilesas. Overcoming kilesas is the way to gain security, and security which is beyond shaking, it's completely unshakable. That's the only way to do it. If one tries to do it by grasping at anything material, strictly speaking, one never gets to that material. Even this body, we can't say it's ours, really. The body is here, we know it. But we know it by what? We know it by sensation. And the one that knows it by sensation isn't the same thing as the sensation. It's separate. It's the one who knows the sensation. Because of that, we never really get at the body. It's always that there's something. It's like if we see an object. If we say, oh, I want to get that, I want to make it mine. So we buy it or steal it or however we get it. And then you say, oh, it's mine. But really speaking, it's just an object. And it still isn't one's own. It's separate all the time. So the one who says it belongs to me is something internal. That internal one can never contact that. Always contact is something separate, external, separate from oneself. And in a similar way, this body is separate from oneself. When one goes in and sees the nature of it, it's just a matter of sensation. It's a whole matter of sensing, seeing, hearing, smell, taste, touch, mostly feeling. And we know it by that. And this is the thing that we're attached to. And this is the thing that we think belongs to us. And while we think it belongs to us, we're under the influence of this body. Whatever happens to it happens to us. And if we get sick, we get worried, anxious, we feel bad. If the body gets injured, we're not happy again. It's because we think it's self, because we're attached to this body. Whatever happens to it then happens to oneself. If one's free from the body, if one's got inward and realized what one truly is, then what happens to the body is something that's happening separately, externally. Like as though it's somebody else's body who's injured or sick. We may feel sorry for them. And in the case of our own bodies, we probably feel the actual pain. But there's no concern about the pain. It isn't me. It isn't mine. And because it isn't me or mine, then it never has the same sway over you, same pull. Never pulls one along with it. Mind remains free, separate. And being free and separate like that, it's also secure. But it knows its own security. It knows that the kilesas have been at least partly eliminated. And it knows that its state is a state where whatever happens, it won't go in the wrong way, it won't go bad. This is the thing we have to work for. Actually, to know the chitta itself is very difficult. It's usually what we know are objects. And to know the chitta, that's not easy. We can know the characteristics of the chitta, but to know the chitta is not. The delusion, and see those sort of things possible. To see the chitta, it's not easy. Because it's like the story of the knife cutting itself. You can't do it. And the chitta is the one who knows. Because the chitta is the one who knows, how can you see the chitta? The only way I can see the chitta is to see the chitta that's past. To separate and see the chitta that's past. And I think that the only other way is that you can drop back and become the chitta, and you can know it by that, but you can't see it as one sees other objects, or knows other objects. There can be a knowing of it by being it. But not in the way that I know that. Not in that way. This is because it is known by being that in the one state. It's a realization. It's a realization of it. Someone once asked Ajahn, he said, well, I see a light, is that the chitta? And Ajahn took his flashlight and shone it and said, there, where does that come from? Light. And he said, it's like this is the chitta, isn't it?
Yes.
The one that produces the light.
These are the shadow. What time Ajahn said shadow?
Shadow,
Shadow.
yes.
Then Hluang Pu An call it the light of the heart.
Yes.
Just like the torchlight, but it's the heart light.
Mm.
Comes in different kinds of แสงของใจ not ใจ
But light of that sort is external, external to the heart. It's produced by it. But the one that produces it, that's the one we want to know. And you say, I want to know the chitta, and the chitta is the one that produces the light, but the chitta is also the one that wants to know it. And how can it get back to itself and know it in that way? You can only know it by being, by cutting off all else and dropping into that state. That's about all it can do. And then it can know.
I see. Just like what Ajahn Yai says that you went into the room, the empty, but you still stand in the room.
Yes.
It's not real empty because
it's not empty because what one calls oneself is there. Whatever one calls oneself, that's still there. It's not empty.
Even chitta.
Yeah. Well, even if one thinks the chitta is a something, then that's what one thinks is the chitta is still there. Because the chitta isn't something that one can pin down like ordinary objects. It's obviously not an object. It's the one that knows the object all the time. And it's not one that can pose as an object. And we talk about the chitta, but really speaking, we don't know properly what we're talking about. It's a word we use. It's convenient, and it's a word which we have to define as something in a place we can only point to. So we can never get to that. It's all like that. I mean, you look at that chicken over there, you see, you look at it for a short while, you spin your attention on it, the chicken over there. The attention spin there. If one looks at the Viganatha, it gives it that there are different types of chitta. And the types of chitta are defined by the characteristics of that chitta. For instance, there's a chitta with greed. Greed becomes an automatic type of chitta. It's not deliberate.
Yeah.
But it's volitional all the same, but automatic. And comes up with other akusala things that are not good. And you put then all the concomitants, all the factors that are with this chitta. And they in effect define that type of chitta. But the chitta itself doesn't say anything about that. These are the qualities by which you define the type of chitta. Like you would say that, the state of mind is of such a nature that the person's got these characteristics. They've got greed or hate. They've got a lot of determination present. All sorts of things are actually come up. And you can say that the mental state is like that. Well, the chitta is the chitta is the one that these states, if you like, cling on to. But in the end, the whole lot's a delusion. Even these states, they're not really so much states as functions, processes going on. This is the advantage of trying to be mindful, is to want to start seeing these things and to start seeing how one works in one's life and see how one's mind works. One can start questioning one's whole nature. It's good to frequently tell oneself that what is here right now at this moment is all that exists. That's everything. Future and past, not there. Can't find them. Past has gone, future hasn't come. It's only this moment. It's there. And keep reminding oneself of that. Then if one finds states thinking of the past, longing for the past, or longing for the future, or wanting, or whatever it is, one thinks it isn't here. That long ago that wanting is here. For what for? It's just a delusion, the whole thing. And it brings one back to the present. In the present there isn't much trouble. Trouble is all in the past and future. If one can realize that one has to plan for the future, and one knows what one's doing, does it quite deliberately, that's all right. But one realizes one's doing it in the present. But usually we forget. The trouble is that we have all sorts of habits. We have habitual ways of doing things. Habitual modes of thinking, of acting, of behaving, of seeing things, of understanding. And these determine the state of one's mind so often. And when they determine the state of one's mind, it's difficult to realize what the truth is. It's difficult to bring it to the present. If one does, these other things are usually just hovering in the background. And one just forgets a bit, they take over straight away. What to do? The only thing to do is to keep on with the practice, keep on with the modes of training in Dhamma, and steadily become a bit more clear and a bit more clear. And the situation becomes seen more clearly and more clearly. And then we begin to realize how illusory or delusory these things are in our chitta, these past and future things. How they're not the real things at all.
What I noticed, I think, is that certain conditions, not certain, I mean, different conditions bring out different habits, they bring out different, it's almost like, I don't know myself, like, oh, what was I, kind of, and then I'm a different set of something. But it's like different conditions bring out different personalities.
Yes, yeah, very much so. Yes.
That's like...
Yes, we're full of these aramanas, as they're called, aram.
Mood.
Aram. This situation reminds one or brings up memory. The past. And then a particular set of conditions arises. And the mood and the emotional states of that situation, which has been there in the past, they all come up with it. And that dies away, another one comes up. This, we have to see them. We have to watch them coming, and know them, and realize where they came from, if you can. And realize that all the time one's mind's under the sway of these things. They're pushing us about all the time. And to try and be watchful. At least those that are bad. There are good ones too. They're not all bad things. I mean, for instance, you can have aramana which come from the teaching of Dhamma. But most people, the ones that come up are not those, are the bad ones.
You can practice this long enough. Is that then going to be stable? Actually? Because that is
no, these things will still come up. But the thing is, the more one practices, the more one sees them coming up. And the more one is able to just drop it if it's undesirable. It comes up and you say, oh, I know what that is. Good. But the trouble is that when they come up, one becomes interested. When one becomes interested, that strengthens it. If one realizes that in that particular aram, one has worked it all out beforehand, has thought all about it, and that to just think about it again is merely repeating the same old thing, and keeping one more firmly anchored in samsara. Then the thing is one should say, oh, got it. I don't know if there's a good English word for that, for emotional state is probably the best, but it doesn't really describe it. Mood. Yes, but it's not the whole of it. It's sort of hang up or something of that sort. Things that hang up or chip on the shoulder.
Sometimes I feel I've become someone else. It's really, it might be just illusion, I don't know, but it's like I have strong kind of interaction with someone, and something happens, and later I go away, and I speak in the same way, I think in the same way, I hear their voice, talking to myself in my own thoughts, and I feel like a person. It's like,
It's actually it's not the other person at all, it's one's makeup of the other person. It's like a doll. Sometimes talking about the guitar.
The Jupiter, he means...
Yeah, not quite the same.
Probably means toys rather than dolls.
Yes.
So they play just like many kinds of toys to play.
Yeah, really, in the world people play with toys, yes. Good.
yeah, I was wondering how they are talking to the guitar.
I think they are toys.
No, toys too.
Businessmen, you get a businessman, he's got 5 million baht in the bank, or 10 million, or whatever it is. He goes out trying to make more and more money. What for? Because he likes doing, because it's playing. It's play, though, mostly.
Pañña.
Tanha behind, yes, it's almost what one would call unnecessary tanha. It's not really true saying. It's that sort of thing. Because I mean, it's just playing, and it's trying to prove to himself that he's better than other people. I mean, it's like a sportsman who wants to be the best boxer or the best footballer or whatever it is. It's the same sort of thing. The only trouble is causing a lot of trouble in the world with other people. Doesn't stop with that person. It's just stop with him. It doesn't matter.
Sometimes it seems to be the nature of a human being.
Yeah.
They want to meet challenge.
Yeah.
That seems to be, it looks challenging to get more.
This is the...
Just that to climb up high.
Yeah. But I mean, the whole thing's under the influence of the kilesas. It's not truly going up higher. Really, the not wanting the pain to stop. I don't know if one can take that up as an obvious idea until the pain becomes interesting. When it becomes interesting, then one can say, well, I don't want it to stop now because I want to find out what it. Really get down to it. It's really where one's intention is aimed. I mean, when that happens, usually the pain does stop. Because that's the way the kilesas. But the thing is, the intention then is, I want it to go on like it. It's the same with fear. If fear comes up, if the persons set themselves and practice the way properly where fear is concerned, they'll immediately jump on that fear as being an opportunity to learn about it, learn about fear. They immediately go down and look at it. I want to look at this fear, because fear is important. And when they do that, they don't want it to stop, they want it to go on, so they can really get hold of it and see it. The trouble is, it usually stops very quickly. It doesn't give you much chance.
I have a good trick how to overcome kind of, I don't even know what it is. It's like I'm getting up in the night and I'm awake and go a bit of walking, sit down, sit in meditation. My mind just goes to sleep.
There are several ways to overcome that. One way that's quite good is, first of all, to sit bolt upright. Don't slouch at all. Sit bolt upright and keep it at that. If that doesn't do it, stand. But the thing is, to do what you do should in some way operate to overcome that. You can kneel if you like. Some people can kneel. I mean, you probably need some pads on your knees, but that can be done as well. Another way is sit in a chair. If you sit in a chair, you can't just give way there, because if you do, you fall off. It's very easy to fall off too.